I am Colonel Joseph Freddy Onata, the Chief Executive Officer of Wazalendo Sacco. Wazalendo Sacco is the biggest Sacco in the country. Unlike any other Sacco, our institution were also affected by the COVID-19. That's why you see I'm wearing a mask. I wash hands when I get here, and we keep social distancing in order to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. But because we are here now and we are properly distanced, allow me to remove this mask so that I can be audible enough and be heard live and clear. So the journey. Wazalendo Sacco is an institutional Sacco belonging to the UPDF and Ministry of Defense. And we were established in 2005, and specifically in September on 22nd. Wazalendo Sacco, I could say, is one of the key achievements of UPDF. And as we are all aware that UPDF is a child of NRA. Between 1981 and 1986, they were NRA in the bush. And between 1986 and in 1995, following the enactment of the 1995 Constitution, the name changed from NRA to UPDF because our legislators felt that the name NRA was not giving the Defense Forces a national character. So by that act, by that law, Constitution of 1995, we were formed into UPDF. Of course, that also created the two services, the UPDF Land Forces and the UPDF Air Force, and the reserves. So now, between 1986 and 2005, as I've told you, UPDF was engaged in fighting numerous insurgencies in this country. That included, among others, the Holy Spirit Movement by Lakwena, the UPA by Pitotai in the Teso sub-region, the LRA by Konyi in northern Uganda, later on parts of Teso sub-region. Then we had the ADF in western Uganda in Kasese. All those meant that we did not have time to think about the welfare. Now, following the return of peace beginning from 2001 and up to 2005, now the Defense Forces started having relative peace, and that's the time when people started thinking about development. They wanted to buy land, they wanted to build houses, they wanted to do businesses for their families, they wanted to educate their children. But of course, all these were very expensive ventures that we would venture into. And what was the solution? We tried what they called a salary earner scheme with most of our banks in Uganda here. But the interest at that time was around 30%. And so with that, it created a kind of challenge for the Defense Forces, bearing in mind that you want to keep the soldiers at work, they are demanding money from them, and of course our salary was small by that time. So the leadership at that time now thought, what do we need to do now that people want to establish homes, they want to do all these projects I've mentioned to you, and there is no money? Then the idea was born by the late General Ronda. I think he had studied it from other countries. He said, by the way, the forces can help themselves by pooling resources together and then lending themselves money and relatively affordable rates. And that marked the study that was put in place. They did a study in Kenya, Ghana, and many other countries that were having Defense Forces circles, or how they were managing the welfare of the soldiers. And so they identified the two projects. One of them was forming a circle. The other one is the Defense Forces shop. Now the Defense Forces shop is managed separately from Wazalendo Sacco, and it has its own board and its own management. So, but for me, I'm going to talk about Wazalendo Sacco that I run and that I manage. We started with a membership of 30 people with a share capital of 13 million. Now, as I speak today, you are looking at a Sacco with over 80,000 members with a share capital of about 220 billion and a savings of 198 billion and a total loan portfolio of about 388 billion. So over the years, we have grown. So the objective of forming this Sacco was, one, to enable soldiers pull resources together. Number two, to encourage them to save. And number three, to avail them credit facilities at relatively affordable rates. There are many other, of course, the other ones to train them on financial literacy and to engage them in productive activities. They are all laid in our bylaws. So that was the objective. To arrive where we have arrived, the key issue has been our leadership. We have had, first of all, we have had peace in the country because a circle cannot exist where people are running up and down. Certainly our soldiers would all be involved in operations, and so there would be no time to do all these projects. So first of all, we thank the government of the Republic of Uganda, and particularly the UPDF, for establishing peace in the country to begin with. So with that peace, which is a multiplier for all these other economic activities, we were able now also to run a circle. We have had steady leadership in the circle, and we have had about 7 or 8 chairpersons of Wazalendo Circle. The first chairperson was General, by that time was a Brigadier Kale Kaihura. That one served between 2005 and 2006, 1 year. He was followed by Major General now, Moses Rwachitarate, who also served between 2006 and 2008. General Rwachitarate was followed by Charles Bakahumura. Charles Bakahumura served between 2008 and 2010. And then Bakahumura was followed by Colonel Simon Ochan, who later on became the CEO. Simon served between 2010 and 2011, and he was followed by General Musanyufu, now Lieutenant General Musanyufu. By that time he was a colonel. He served between 2011 and 2012. And then we had the Major General Diva Sentongo. He served between 2012 and 2016 as chairperson of the board. And the current chairperson, Major General Sam Kabuma, also has served from 2016 to date and still counting. But the brain behind the circle was the late General Aronda Nyakairima. And then, of course, with all this. In terms of management, we have had about 4 leaders in management. Probably somebody would ask me a question, why? Why the turnover of the board and not management? You know, the board serves for 2 terms, 2 years. Initially, they were serving for 2 years, renewable once. So that would make you, and it's elective. Positions of the board are elective. And so you can go to the board, you serve, people feel that they need a change, they will change you. But of course, the leadership also can change. If they feel that there are other assignments that you can do, and somebody else can take these responsibilities, then they would recall the person who was chairperson and ask another person to be elected. So that explains the short years, 1 year, like that. For management, we had Gashom as our first manager, and then we had, that one was followed by Pius Twimuche. Pius Twimuche was with us up to 2014, and 2015, he handed over to Colonel then Simon Ochan, who is now a Brigadier General, who also served from 2015 as CEO up to 2019. 2019, he handed over to me in August 2019, and I am the current CEO. The circle has contributed a lot to this country. To begin with, it has addressed the issues of welfare among our forces. Gone are the days when our soldiers would go and borrow expensive loans in the banks at 30%, 24, 26, and so forth. Now they come here and they get their loans at cheaper rates. We have 2 types of rates. For a loan, was a quick loan of 1 year, the interest rate is 12% for the year. And for those loans which are more than 1 year, more than 2 years, the interest rate is 13%, of course paid on a reducing balance. In terms of product offering, we offer savings products. We have ordinary savings. We have the retirement savings. We have school fees savings, watoto savings where you open accounts for your children. And then we have the business savings account. Now, in terms of membership, we draw our membership from the UPDF, Ministry of Defense employees, Wazalendo Sacco employees, and the children and spouses of those I have mentioned earlier. So that's where we draw our membership. In terms of credit products, we have the asset financing loan. We have the Nyumba loan. That's a Nyumba loan is for construction. We have the Biashara loan for business. We have agriculture loan. We have already mentioned one called the Waza Quick loan for solving emergency problems. Each of these loans has the minimum amount and the maximum amount somebody can access. So currently, in general, our maximum loan is 100 million, and the minimum is 100,000 shillings that you can borrow from here. Below that, we feel that that will not be productive for the individual and even for us if you borrow less than 100,000. In terms of interest, we pay interest on savings, unlike some organizations where you put your money, you can only pay ledger fees and so forth. Here we pay interest on savings ranging from 4% to 7%, depending on the type of account and the amount of money you have on the account. So we have those strands, about 3 of them. So our members are benefiting from that, and we are generally giving them what we think is the best service. But to me, I think the biggest contribution that this SACCO has done to this country and to the UPDF, one was to address the welfare issues, enabling members to borrow, do projects that improve their welfare, to make them earn an extra income for those who are doing businesses, and then to help them have stable families, constructing residential homes, constructing commercial buildings, and so forth. So the SACCO has really done a great job. And of course, like I've told you, have employees who are civilians and those ones who are the military. Now, our civilian employees pay taxes, income taxes, pay as you earn. And I think that is a contribution, a direct contribution to government from Wazalendo Sacco. Then there are also other indirect contributions. You realize that when these loans are borrowed, they got to be invested in the communities where these officers and militants come from. Now, when they go there, they invest this money. First, they create immediate employment in those areas where they have invested this money. For example, if somebody is going to construct a residential house involves manual labor and so forth. So during that time when the construction is going on, the locals in that area are employed on site, and they are able to earn money. And if it is a commercial building in a trading center, well, the member will earn rent. But remember, these days in Uganda, we have what they call property rent, whereby we pay taxes for those residential commercial buildings that we put in place. So from the earnings that our members make, they have to pay taxes. So again, that is an indirect contribution from Wazalendo through the member to the economy. Then of course the other one is that the products that they produce for those who are dealing in agriculture, industry and so forth, those products are sold in the market. And where they are selling them, they are taxes. They are taxed and then they contribute to the national economy, and therefore the growth of our country and the development of our economy. So we are making a very big impact. The other impact is that Wazalendo Sacco is now like Wazalendo admittedly is the biggest Sacco in the country, with a membership of over 80,000 plus a share capital of 220 billion and the savings of about 198 billion and the loan portfolio of 388 billion. We are the biggest in the economy. And being the biggest in the economy, we provide leadership. Just recently, we had been in Masaka, Greater Masaka region, trying to teach and mobilize other SACCOs, giving them factors that can help them to succeed. What is our story? How are we succeeding? So with the journey, we are also able to share this story that will be shared by many, and they learn from us. And time and again, we get calls here for people to want to come and learn from us, or inviting us to go and teach them. So we are making a contribution there, of course, under that principle of cooperatives that talks about cooperation among cooperators. So we are doing a lot of education outside there, and even amongst our own members. Every year we do mobilization twice within our membership, teaching them about savings, introducing them the new products that we have, and encouraging them, advising them on the products that they can take, the investments that they can take. We are doing a lot. So we are doing a lot in terms of developing our members, encouraging them, and so many other things. Financial literacy, things have greatly improved. If you look at the soldier of 2020 and compare him with the soldier of 2003, you will see a remarkable difference in terms of managing life, managing finances, and thinking about earning an extra income using our families, of course. Somebody would ask me, how will you do that when you're fully engaged in military duties 24/7? We have families behind us. We have our spouses, we have our children, we have our relatives. Some of them can be trusted. Relatives and, of course, families who are trusted, who do some of these businesses on our behalf. Then, of course, the other ones who have really grown, they have managers. They have managers who are doing this on their behalf. So really, we are doing a great contribution. So if you talk about somebody having a manager, it means there is an employment created indirectly. So as Wazalendo Sacco, we are doing a great, great deal. And we intend to use the knowledge and experience that we have acquired to help the rest of the SACCOs in this country to grow and to develop into better SACCOs. Because we believe that when we have numbers, then we are able to drive our agenda of cooperative movement ahead. That is an area that we need to talk about. The other one is that our coordination with some of the SACCOs have told us a lot of challenges, again, within the SACCOs, especially issues to do with governance. So these are areas that we tend to focus when we go outside there: governance, management, the issues of having the right policies to manage every aspect of the business. These are the things that we deal with. Overall, Wazalendo Sacco is the biggest achievement of UPDF, and is a story and a testimony. One, that as military officers, we can manage to save money to those tunes that I've talked about, and to manage it very well. Since we started, we have never lost money to corruption as a SACCO. We have very good internal controls, and the selection criteria for somebody who comes to lead and to work in our SACCO is very, very rigorous. First of all, you must be ideologically upright, understanding the ideology why the SACCO was created. We are not here to make money, but to serve. So if you are coming here thinking of getting rich, if you come to Wazalendo thinking of getting rich very quick, probably this will be a wrong place for you. Because we want dedicated, committed staff who are willing to sacrifice for the bigger majority who are outside there, who sacrifice those small savings of 5,000, maybe 5,000, 10, 20, and at the end of the day, they generate for us these billions that you see here. So that is what you see us trying to do here. Now, somebody would ask, what does one need to become a member? I've already defined earlier the membership composition. Now, for you to become a member, you just pay 10,000 shillings, non-refundable fee. Then you buy 10 shares. A share here costs 15,000. So for you to become a member, you need a minimum of 160,000 Uganda shillings only to become a member of the SACCO. What are the rights of the member? The rights of a member include getting the loans, electing leaders, and being elected into the leadership positions. Responsibilities of a member include: 1, promoting the SACCO, borrowing and paying money borrowed from the SACCO promptly, and then attending education when it is conducted. Now, in terms of our operations, like any other organization, we have been affected by COVID. Now, when COVID came, we had to reduce by our staffing by 2/3. So if we had 90 members of staff, we had to work with 30. This had far-reaching effects on our membership. 1, for those who remained working the 30, they were overstretched. So they had to multitask to do more than one person, do the work which was supposed to be done by 3 people by 1 person. But for those ones who were sent home to work from home, there was psychological trauma, because they wouldn't have the assurance that they would still have the jobs after COVID. But I want to assure you, Ugandans, that SACCO is a strong SACCO. We continued paying all our staffs despite the challenges of COVID. We paid them full salaries up to now. We have continued paying them full salaries. The other one is that we have continued providing them all the basics that they need here. Transport, we have never withdrawn any service from our members. So we are doing well. Now, in relation to the NRA, UPDF, and the current Uganda, Wazalendo Sacco is a brainchild of the UPDF leadership following the establishment or settlement of peace in our country. Now, first of all, I want to thank the government of the Republic of Uganda, and in particular, the leaders of UPDF for being foresighted and establishing peace, restoring peace all over the country. Now, with the peace restored all over the country, we are able to establish 19 branches in the different parts of the country. Gulu, Arua, Jinja, Muhoti, Masaka, Mbarara, and many others. So this one goes to tell you that where there is peace, you can take their business. So I want to thank the UPDF for establishing peace all over the country. And as part of Tarehe 26 January celebrations, we always participate in this. We go and showcase the products that we have, because we find our members are participating in these celebrations. So we go and showcase our products and to inform the public what we do and how we have done it. During the Tarehe Sita, we always establish a stall there where people can go and see some of this by way of display and so forth. So we always participate in Tarehe 26 or 26 January celebrations. And then in terms of Tarehe Sita celebrations, we establish a team that goes to train, to mobilize, and encourage other circles. Last year we did the training in the Greater Luero, Nakasongola, Nakaseke areas. We had circles in that area which we trained. This year we were in the Greater Masaka, because the Tarehe Sita celebrations this year will be held in Masaka. We have been there. We have trained circles in Luengo, Rakai, Chotera, Masaka, and I think the next district is Bukomba Simbi, around that area. So we have done that. So our contribution in this Tarehe Sita celebration is that, and we are very proud of that. And we do this training at our own cost. We don't ask the circles to contribute anything towards this training. We are giving back to the public, and we are sharing with them the story of the success by UPDF and by Wazalendo Circle. We want to congratulate the people of Uganda, our partners, partner banks, our suppliers, and those ones who deal with us. One, for supporting the programs of government, for supporting peace and stability, and to elect good leaders who are helping us to have this steady progress over a period of time now. And for His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, we are deeply humbled by his leadership. We are always encouraged by his wisdom and guidance that has led us where we are today. So I want to congratulate him first for 35 years of steady and transformative progress, and secondly, for being elected yet for another term that entirely secures our future as a country, as Ugandans, and as citizens. We continue praying that God gives him long life, greater wisdom to continue steering this country in the right direction. My last message to the people of Uganda, and in particular the parents, the youth, the business community, the leaders and the elders. We held our elections on 14th January. The elections are gone for the presidential and parliamentary. Yesterday we held elections for districts and cities. The elections are done. It is now time for us, each one in their respective field, first of all, to ensure that we maintain peace. Because without peace, we cannot do anything. For the business community to go about their business. For the parents to take care of the youth, guiding them properly. And for the citizens to ensure that we protect and safeguard the gains that we have struggled to achieve over the last 5 years and roll with them in the next 6 years, so that we consolidate the achievements that the government has put in place and ensure that we arrive into a middle income economy within the shortest time possible, because that's where we want our country to be. As UPDF, we shall ensure that we consolidate the peace that is there and safeguard it. And as Wazalendo Sacco, we shall ensure that we deal with the welfare of our soldiers and ensure that they participate in dealing with the security threats while their money is secured back here. With those few remarks, I want first of all to thank my colleagues and workmates here in Wazalendo Sacco for the tireless efforts that they have put in place to ensure that the Sacco stands tall. I also want to thank the UPDF leadership for giving us an opportunity to serve in these positions of leadership in Wazalendo Sacco. I want to thank the people of Uganda for choosing peace and supporting us in our endeavors to ensure the security of this country. Most importantly, I want to thank the President of the Republic of Uganda for the visionary leadership that has led this country where we are today. And with those, I want to say that God bless you all, and for God and my country.